Good evening, good evening. What's happening, brothers? How you guys doing? Sorry, YouTube was taking its sweet time to tell me that we were live. A few people in here already. Miguel, Jeff, Jax, James, Chris, Wolfden, TM Punk asks, what's everyone painting tonight? I'm going to be painting some Assault Terminators. I got lots to do in these guys. So that's my plan. I was actually pulling up a picture of Assault Terminators. I've never painted a squad of Assault Terminators. Well, I mean, I've painted them. These models actually got stripped because I painted them when I was very young and they were painted terribly. So I've never painted them since I've been reasonably decent at painting. Good evening, Dirty Wizard. How are you? Wins ain't the only thing that's high tonight, says the end. Okay. It's Saturday night, the end. No judgment here. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Let me see what paints I'm going to start with. I think I'm going to start with some Celestia Grey. And I'm going to be putting that, on some of these wings on the shoulders. There's so much to do in these Terminators. I think I'm going to do some black tonight as well. Try and get... These things have a lot of intricate detail on them. I'm about to convert my first Librarian Vindicator. Vindicator? What the hell is a Librarian Vindicator? I feel like I should probably know this, but I don't. So tell me, what is a Librarian Vindicator, please? And thanks so much for watching the Death Company video yesterday, guys. Like, so many people watched that video. I get so many good comments on it. You know, YouTube is going to be a funny thing. Sometimes you make a video and it does nothing, or sometimes you make a video you're not sure will do well, and like loads of people enjoyed it. So yeah, loads of people liked the Death Company video yesterday. It got a heap of comments, and yeah, some nice discussion on the Death Company. So thank you so much for watching that yesterday. Making a custom Sanguinius, says Jason. Maybe for the painting competition, that would be cool. A custom Sanguinius for the painting competition. Yeah, you should enter that. If anyone's here and they don't know what we're talking about in terms of painting competition, I have a painting competition. Where did this paint come from? God damn it. It must have been on the edge of the lid or something. I have a painting competition going off on my channel, or going on in my channel right now. It's probably going to go on till about the 12th of March, I think is what we said the other night on stream. So if you've got some Blood Angels models that you're really proud of, you can get them and you can enter them into the first painting competition that we're going to have on this channel. And everyone, I keep telling people, even if you're not the best painter, you should enter, because I'm going to get a few independent judges. They're not going to know whose entries are whose, and then we're gonna roll some random numbers at the end for the final winner. So as long as you make it into that like final shortlist, you have a chance of winning. So I think that's the fairest way we could have done it. So yeah, if you're on the fence about entering the painting competition, you should just do it. Just do it. You can't win if you don't enter, right? Making the basis for Custodes Terminators. Hope it didn't give me Vietnam flashbacks. You know what? There's a GT going on in the city that I live in this weekend, and I know that there was like some crazy Custodes lists going to it. Kind of the only reason I can't go at the moment is just with the kids. You know, I'm gonna go to GTs later in the year, but like, I mean, COVID's still a little bit of a concern when you've got unvaccinated children, but yeah, Custodes right now, strong AF, I'd say. I think, well, do you know what, Tau as well? We were talking about storms, is it the Storm Surges? I think they're grossly undercosted at 330 points. Jeff says, are missile launchers any good? I don't have any, but I feel like buying... I don't feel like buying them if I don't have to. I mean, Cyclone missile launchers on the Relic Contemptors, Jeff, I'd say are okay. What unit are you thinking about putting missile launchers on? Like a Cyclone missile launcher I think it costs 25 points, which is the same or if not more than a multi-melta. I mean, it can do damage and it's nice to have it on a Relic Contemptor, but like I wouldn't go out your way to get like shitloads of missile launchers. Like a couple can be okay, and I don't mind the Relic Contemptors with the missile launchers. I think that's reasonably decent. But I wouldn't run like I'd run one Cyclone missile launcher in your army. I don't think they're super competitive points wise. Jason says the Death Company Dreadnought the Death Company video was really solid. Thank you, Jason. That's very kind. Like I said, sometimes with videos, sometimes you can do videos that you think are solid and nobody likes, and vice versa. So it was nice to see like a lot of people seem to enjoy the Death Company video. So that was cool. Arkin says hi all. Hi John. Good evening, Arkin. How you doing? I want to do a video. TM Punk also enjoyed the Death Company video. I want to do a video, TM Punk, about how to buff the Death Company, because there's a shitload of options, right? I'm not going to do it this week because this week I want to talk about chapter approved stuff, like the new secondaries and stuff, because I think that would be a good video. I was halfway through making the Death Company video and I was like, fuck, I should have probably made that chapter approved book video, because everybody wants to know about secondaries and the new missions and stuff. So I felt like I should have done that. So I think I'm going to do that for next week. And you know what? I've done like tons of maths for my videos for like the last 3 weeks in a row or something. And like, I don't mind doing the maths, but like it's a lot of work and it can be quite boring to do all that maths to work out like which unit is best. I mean, it's good and it's informative, but like in terms of like preparing for the video, like I have to spend like an entire evening just doing math, which isn't always the funnest, I guess. So maybe I'll do secondaries. I'd like to talk about secondaries this week, and then maybe we'll come back to how we buff Death Company. The N says, how do I enter the painting competition? I put a video out on the channel like just last week. The painting competition is called the Red Thirst, but first as in FIRST, not thirst, first. So if you search like Blood Angels Red First on YouTube, because it was like our first painting competition on the channel, maybe I was trying to be too clever, but anyway, Red First, you should see a video on how to enter the painting competition, and it's going to be open until sort of March, 13th of March or something like that, so there's plenty time to enter. And because it's our first competition, I mean, technically you can enter any Blood Angel model that you have painted, that you've ever painted, because I've never seen them before. So yeah, check it out. Have a Google search for it at the end, you'll find it. Oscar says, I'm buying 2 boxes of Sangre Guard. Nice, Oscar. I run 7 Sangre Guard in pretty much every battle. And missile launchers in a Devastator squad, I wouldn't go missile launchers in a Devastator squad, Jeff. If you want to run a Devastator squad, I really think it would be, I think multi-meltas are the best option. Maybe like, do you know what, 2 multi-meltas and 2 grav might be the best option. Gives you a bit of everything. Las cannons are so swingy, they're difficult to make work. Missile launchers, I guess, like the Cyclone missile launcher cost is okay. I think regular missile launchers are probably a little bit overcosted. So no, I wouldn't go out your way to get missile launchers on a Devastator squad. Do you know what I should put on Librarian? The Jump Librarian can either run a bolt pistol, a bolt gun, or an infernal pistol, basically. And I think all choices have their uses. The bolt weapons can be used if you want to give them quake bolts, and the infernal pistol can combo up nicely if you want to give them null zone. If you're going to give them null zone, you're probably better giving them a sword than an axe, because obviously the sword is -3 and the axe is -2, so you get more value out of giving them a sword than you will giving them an axe. I mean, that's so my Jump Librarian was pretty clever. Oscar, I gave him a sword in one hand and no weapon in the other hand, but he has a holster. So it's like I can just say on my army list whatever's in the holster, right? So it's like it's a clever way of like giving me the option. So like if I've got 5 points at the end of the, you know, like if I've made my list, I've got 5 points left over, I can give him an infernal pistol. If I don't have the 5 points left over, he can just have a bolt pistol, right? I thought it was a clever thing to do, but yeah. Someone said on stream like 2 weeks ago that like he was just done painting a squad of assault terminators and he was so glad that he was done because they got so much details and stuff on them. And I feel the pain because I'm only painting 5 of these guys right now in sort of a batch paint, but I've I want to say I've got like 15 assault terminators because I've got at least, I think I've got like 7 with thunderhammers and I've probably got 7 with lightning claws, and then I've got 2 with the banners. Because why would you not make some with banners, Terminator Ancients? Not that I run them very often, if ever. But I've got a couple of Terminator Ancients. So yeah, I probably have like... have a lot, I guess, of Assault Terminators that are tragically unpainted, I guess. Math Hammer and Death Company video is highly appreciated. Been running lots of Death Company since 5th edition, and it's nice seeing them be looked at. Everything is always Sangre Guard. Yeah, I mean, I'm even guilty of that, right? Like, it's hard not to love the Sangre Guard, I guess. The 2-up save always seems to, you know, it's on paper it feels really powerful, I guess, a 2-up save. In reality, it's probably not as powerful as we think it's going to be, but yeah, people do tend to gravitate to Sangre Guard. I got a question for y'all. If you could replace the +1 advance on charge with any tactic from the Successor tactics, what would you choose? I'd pick Tactical Withdraw to fall back and charge. Sayable, you're 100% right. That's what I would pick Tactical Withdraw as well. I'd probably keep the +1 to wound because I actually think the +1 to wound always gives me value. Or the +1 to charge as well. Like, those 2 things always give me value. So I'd probably try and hang on to those. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on Successor chapters, but I would hang on to those 2 if I can, and then take fall back and charge. Because the thing is, when you fall back, you know, as a Blood Angels player, you lose or not when you fall back, sorry. When you go into that second round of combat and you don't get the +1 to charge because, or the +1 to your wound roll because you haven't charged, etc., and you don't get the additional attacks, you're actually quite a lot weaker. Like you know, if you think of Sangre Guard, you get like what normally you would get like 5 attacks per model with +1 to wound. If you're in the second round of combat, it's just 3 attacks per model with no +1 to wound. So you lose so much, I guess. So fallback and charge definitely feels like one of the best things you could pick. I agree 100%. I think charge after advanced white scars is very Blood Angels. Yeah, I mean, if everybody keeps getting, you know, every codex that comes out now is so strong. I suppose it does mean when we get our new codex, you would imagine that we would get some sort of buffs, because I've seen some things from the Elder Codex that look insane, and like I said, the Tau Codex, some of the units in the Tau Codex is absolutely no joke. Those Storm Surges at 330 points are just insane. Rosebat, what are you asking? I missed a question. You've said Thunderhammer, Infernal Pistol, and Death Company Captain with Gift of Foresight. What do I think of that? I mean, I certainly don't think it's bad. I prefer the Chapter Master approach, though, than the Death Company Captain. And I think the thing about the Chapter Master, I know he's more points, but I kind of feel like I get value from him throughout the game, whereas maybe with the Death Company Captain, it's more like you make a charge or 2 and then he's done, right? I think. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but that's kind of what I think. I'm gonna paint some eyes here, I think, or at least get a first coat into some of these eyes. Am I putting Terminators into a Land Raider? No, probably going to deep strike the Terminators. I've been deep striking them for a little while with the Teleport Homer. Nice tip on the Librarian with the empty hands, says James. Yeah, no problem, James. Greeting Highland Phoenix, good evening. Good evening, Sellers, how you doing? Kim is putting transfers for the first time with Microset and Microsol. It looks fun and it's awesome. Yeah, Microset and Microsol are legitly good. If you've never used them for transfers, you should check them out. Merch says, speaking of strong codexes, what do you think of Crusher Stampede rules for Tyranids? I mean, I think they've been proven in a few tournaments that they're very strong, Merch. I think Tyranids are getting a new codex reasonably soon as well, right? So who knows what's going to happen. The balance slate this quarter seemed a little bit lackluster, honestly. But yeah, no, I think the Tyranids with the Crusher Stampede is very, very strong. I think it's certainly a tough one for us to fight into as well. I haven't fought it on my channel yet, so I know at the GT that I was at, somebody was running it, but I didn't run into it there either, so I'm surprised Andrew hasn't actually run Crusher Stampede, because Andrew always likes to jump on the most meta stuff, doesn't he? I find it weird we've had so little touch-ups, considering Blood Angels have a steady-ish 45% win rates at tournaments. I find that weird and frustrating as well, to be honest, Siable. I tweeted at the Warhammer community team this week about that in a roundabout way. You know, they put up this tweet that was like, what are your favorite Blood Angels characters at the moment? And I like replied on the Twitter saying like, our Blood Angels characters really aren't strong right now. You know, with the current meta, they've kind of all, like, they're just not seeing play, they're just not good. Maybe someone could look at them and see if they can make them a little bit better. And the Warhammer community team actually replied and was like, you can send feedback to like this random email address, like feedback, rules feedback or something at gw.com. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that because that's not going to help at all. But yeah, it does seem strange that I mean, I guess they dropped Mephisto on 15 points and they dropped the Death Company a few points. But I guess if you're not playing Death Company, you're not playing Mephisto, then like we're just in the same 40.5% win rate sort of position, I guess. Which is a little bit frustrating, yeah. I mean, 45% win rate kind of shows. Dirty Wizard, thank you so much for becoming a company veteran. I thought you were a member already, but maybe I missed that. Maybe, yeah, it says member for, it doesn't say like member times 2. It usually says that if you're a member for multiple months, but no, thank you so much. We get the Sanguinar with Heroic Bearing, while Tau get to deal 10 damage per gun. Heroic Bearing on the Sanguinar is a really dumb warlord trait for him. I made a video about how he's just like, I made a video saying just that in as many words, didn't I? Like, a warlord trait that lets him reroll hits or something, or expands the range of his aura to hits, and he doesn't give an aura to hits. It's like, it's a very confused option. Sellers, can I get your most current thoughts on Death Company Intercessors, Strategic Reserves, Impulsors? I think definitely Strategic Reserves, Sellers, and you know, I would have answered your question without sending $5, but that's very appreciated. Thank you. If at any point I do actually miss someone's question and you really want it answered, just ask it again. It's, you know, I'm bouncing between painting and answering stuff from chat, so I sometimes miss things. Yeah, Death Company Intercessors, I think, I mean, you get a lot of attacks, right? If you come in from Strategic Reserve, an 8-inch charge with a reroll is a 65% charge. So like, if you're going to bring in a few models or a few units, like in my games I would usually bring in like 1 or 2, maybe even 3 3 units of strategic reserve throughout a game. So that's basically saying 2 out of 3 times in a game you're going to make the charge if you've saved the CP for the reroll, I guess. Impulsors, I think, are kind of overcosted, and they're not surviving right now. They really aren't. Like, I would much prefer to bring, you know, like, so I try to run an Impulsor with Bladeguard veterans in it, like, a bunch of times. I ran it with the shield dome, I ran it without the shield dome, I tried to hide it, I tried to not hide it, you know, to try and just see how good the Impulsor was, and, like, I never felt like it really got that much value. And then, yeah, you know, like, if I look at my Terminators over the last 4 or 5 games I've played with them, sometimes you drop down your Terminator squad, they fail the charge. I might have to go AFK here in 1 second if my toddler wakes up. I just hear her coughing on the baby monitor. Yeah, if you fail the charge, you leave yourself exposed in the middle of nowhere or something, right? And against the Tau anyway, last week I lost 4 of my 5 Terminators. Merch, thank you so much for becoming a Battle Brother. Appreciate that. I think you'd been a member before, but maybe you're back now. Alright, it's a cool night, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate the support tonight. This is cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, so, like, yeah, so... Alright, I'll be right back 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. I can turn this baby monitor off now. I just had to move her to my wife's bed. Okay. Cool. It's one thing, less thing to worry about, I guess. Yeah, Assault. Death Company Intercessors, sorry, that's where we were. I think you gotta reserve them. And yeah, in some games, yeah, they will get exposed, they will get killed before you make the charge, but an 8-inch charge with a reroll, in my opinion, really isn't that bad odds. 65% chance. So, like... yeah, I mean... Some games you'll lose them. But how is that any worse than the Impulsor getting blown off the table and then things inside it getting killed as well? I don't know, the extra points you seem to pay for the Impulsor, because the Impulsor's not cheap, right? My biggest, like 6 months ago, maybe even a little bit more than 6 months ago, I thought Bladeguard veterans were way better than Terminators, for example. And it was like, my Bladeguard veterans just kept dying. Every game I'm playing, they're dying. They're not getting across the board, they're getting focused. I'm playing transhuman on them, they're dying. It's just not working. So then I started trying the Impulsor, and the same thing happens. You throw the Pulsar forward, and the Impulsor dies, and then the Bladeguard get picked off. Sometimes it worked, but I think since I've switched to Terminators, I've just felt like the Terminators give a threat. Like, they have a serious threat. Like, your opponent starts, like, screening a bit more, right? Because they're like, 5 Terminators coming in will fuck shit up. I pretty much always play Fury for the first when the Terminators charge as well. So when I was running Terminators with bolters, I was basically getting my like 20 odd chain fist attacks hitting on 3s, right? So if you charge into a vehicle, if you've got like 15-20 chain fists and you're hitting on 3s, that vehicle is dead because each failed chain fist. And chain fists are like -4 or something stupid, right? So, and then Thunderhammer Terminators and Lightning Claw Terminators again, if you pay the 1 CP, you're doing a lot of killing, I find. So I've completely shifted my view. Like, I obviously have Bladeguard veterans fully painted, like a big squad of them. Like, I think I have 8 of them. I painted them gold. I was really happy with them. I spent ages on them. And now I find that I just don't field any of them. And that's maybe I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not infallible. But, like, I've been feeling better about the Terminators, and the other thing that I've been feeling that's nice about the Terminators is, like, if you ever have them in cover, you can ignore -2 AP, which I think is kind of huge. You know, like, I was playing against Andrew's list where he had like 1 million lightning locks. Well, he had 9 knights. I think it was 9 knights, each with 2 lightning locks. So that's basically like 12 hits. Not 12 shots, 12 hits every turn from each knight. So 9 times 12, do the math. I mean, that 9 12s is like 100 and something. So over 100 hits per turn from lightning locks at -2 AP. So having Terminators still able to save on 2+ was kind of huge in that game. Like, you know, the Terminators were just able to just say, yeah, look, just shoot us. We'll just keep saving on 2s, even though you're -2 AP. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't work against everything, but it definitely helps against some things. And against Tau, like last week, Andrew was shooting indirect fire against my Terminators. And again, the indirect fire on the Tau now is -1. That doesn't matter. The Terminators are still saving on 2s because the ones with Storm Shields have a 1-up save, right? So it was like, I don't know, I'm just, where I am right now, I'm more on board with Terminators than Bladeguards. Now, I know a lot of people in chat love Bladeguards, and if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have said I prefer Bladeguards. And in tournament play, in the last 2 tournaments I've run, one tournament I ran Bladeguards, one tournament I ran Terminators, and I felt I did better in the tournament I ran Terminators. But I guess you have to decide, you know, you can decide what you think is better. But where I stand right now, I'm on board with the Terminators. I'm gonna most likely play Assault Terminators in my next GT. Let's hope the new jump pack Primaris units work well for us. Yeah, let's hope that. I don't know when we're getting them, but that would be nice. Who would you say is the strongest melee-based faction chapter? Sadly, I don't think it's us, but the Blood Keeps the Strong Brothers. The strongest chapter at the moment is probably going to be like Black Templars, because the whole army gets a 5-up invuln save, if I'm correct, right? And they have like some crazy good ways of buffing their units as well. I think at LVO, I think I read that either was it Black Templars or Space Wolves were the highest Marine finish. Heretic spotted in the chat. Is that because Stellar said Iron Within? Blood Angels need jump pack units. Bladeguard are really good in White Scars because of extra movement, and extra movement seems to be sorely missing in Blood Angels. Yeah, I mean, I guess here's a question. When Blood Angels used to be able to do the 3d6 charge, you know, make Reavers fast attack. I don't know if even with Reavers being in fast attack, if they would be worth it, Highland, because they just, in my experience, Reavers just don't do enough damage. So fast attack or no fast attack, it wouldn't really matter. They don't do enough damage to justify you bringing them into your army. Yeah, you can do some obsec shenanigans and stuff, but again, I don't think it's enough. I really don't think it's enough to justify including them. Do you teleport them in? Yeah, I teleport the Terminators in, obviously 9 inches away from the enemy, and go for an 8-inch charge. If I can be in an obscuring position when I do that charge, so I can't be overwatched, even better. And if I can be in cover when I land, so that if I don't make my charge, I'm much more difficult to kill, then even better as well. And I do take the teleport Homer because I think the 5 points to relocate the Terminators is actually worth it, because Terminators, like you know, people are saying Bladeguard are slow. Well, Terminators are even slower. So occasionally, and it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen, occasionally if your Terminators come in, they charge a unit and kill them, being able to pick them up and redeploy them later in the game somewhere else, even just onto an objective sometimes to like score points, can actually win or lose games. So I like Terminators, I like teleport homers. I think it gives you a little bit of a trick up the sleeve, I guess. And yeah, I mean, Rizio for one is going to say that Bladeguard are better than Terminators, but I think it's situational, you know? I lost count of the amount of times that I would play Transhuman on the Bladeguard and still lose the whole squad. And, but then I don't run a Sanguinary Priest, which can be a big factor there, right? Bladeguard with a Sanguinary Priest or an Apothecary could be a lot more survivable, but I have been thinking a little bit about running the Sanguinary Priest again, but like, I'm trying to build a list that's going to win a GT, I guess, and we all know that Blood Angels aren't the strongest right now, so like, I gotta figure out how to win a GT with this army. And I don't know if I feel like, well, you know what? I would assume that most of those people at a 45% win rate on Best Coast pairings and stuff are probably running like your standard Blood Angels list. You know, because I run Blood Angels quite a bit different to a lot of people, right? So a lot of people are running, you know, the Sanguinary Priest, the Assault Doctrine, the Death Company, all these things that I don't run. And it's not that I hate these things, it's just I think that like they're not as competitive maybe as they should be. Ignoring -2 AP with Unhammer Storm Shield is glorious. I play Deathwatch, so I can usually be a bit cheeky and put them in kill teams. Yeah, I mean, the ignoring -2 AP against certain armies is huge, right? Or ignoring -1 while you're not in cover as well, I guess, which is what's good against Tau right now. If only Reavers were Death Company. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Reavers just... they're such a confused unit, aren't they? It's funny that, because like you would think that, like, you know, people always make the joke that like Games Workshop want to sell models, so they have these new models and they're powerful because they want to sell them. Well, they don't want to sell things too bad, because like surely if they wanted to really sell things, like they would look at like some of the Space Marine stuff that sucks and be like, all right, this sucks. Obviously we're not selling it, so maybe we could, you know, make some changes. I don't know. I mean, it's... they only want to buff the newest stuff? I don't know. It seems strange. The last balance slate was not good in my opinion. I didn't like it. And yeah, I mean, chapter approved 2022, the new missions and stuff is nice, but like, I think my video this week showed like Sanguinary Guard are pretty overcosted, and someone said in the comments quite an interesting comment to say like, you know, it's a little sad that like Blood Angels have these two specific melee units like the Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company, and they're not really any better than Vanguard vets. So you would think that the faction-specific units that only we can get should be stronger than, let's say, the standard one that everybody gets, like the Vanguard vets, but it's really not the case. You know, the Vanguard vets are arguably, out of the three, the most survivable. So it's like we have two faction-specific units that are less survivable than the generic choice you get in Codex Space Marines. I mean, I don't know. Tough time to be a Blood Angel player, I guess. But I think we all knew that anyway, right? I think we've known that for like 18 months at this point, and we're probably going to know it for another 18 months before we get our next Codex. Don't worry, I'll still be here. Complaining. Blood Angels needed 3d6 charge back, definitely. As a Scars player, I kind of feel bad for my cousins of the 9th, says JW. That's very kind, JW. Yeah, I don't feel bad, I just feel a little bit miffed. Would Death Company Bladeguard be a good thing? Rezio, you need to stop saying Terminators are not good. I'm going to win a GT with Terminators on my list, right? I'm literally going to win a GT with Terminators on my list, and then you'll have to say Terminators are good. Because I don't see why, like, why are they not good? When I played against Colin's Ultramarines like a few weeks back, I think you were in the stream, the Terminators arrived from Deep Strike and charged Ultramarines, and they wiped the entire squad of Bladeguard, right? I mean, I did pay the 1 CP for Fury of the First, but like, each Thunderhammer going through is killing a Bladeguard. You know, they're not bad. Like, I don't understand why you think Terminators are bad, honestly. I was watching the last hobby hangout today, and I had to come and warn you not to try Marmite or Vegemite. It's so disgusting, says this. Yeah, last hobby hangout, we had a lot of chat about food, didn't we? That was a fun chat. Sometimes on hobby hangout, sometimes we chat about whiskey and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of whiskey. I haven't really drunk much this year. I had a stream at New Year where I went crazy and drunk all the whiskey. So no, I haven't really drunk. I think I've had one whiskey since then. But yeah, no, don't worry. I didn't rush out to try Vegemite or Marmite. I actually I haven't been shopping since then anyway. Ditch the 3-wood infantry, triple Redemptor and castle with buffing characters for all your elite slots. Do you know what? I tried triple Redemptor. I didn't like it. Redemptors have giant bases, and with triple Redemptor, like maybe I played it wrong, right? But like when I tried triple Redemptor, I thought to myself, like, one of the best ways to keep your Redemptors alive is obviously Psychic Fortress, and like if you've got 3 Redemptors and you can put them all inside the Psychic Fortress, that's like a lot of value. But then I kind of got like, I ended up with like Redemptors blocking other Redemptors and stuff. Like, I think if you're gonna do that, you'd almost want like 2 Redemptors and a Relic Contemptor, or maybe you want to go further and do the 3 Relic Contemptors. Or sorry, 2 Relic Contemptors and a Redemptor. And that 2 Relics and a Redemptor is actually what I ran at that GT that I almost won. But I didn't like 3 Redemptors as much as I thought I would like it. And if you compare the Redemptor to the Relic Contemptor, the bases are kind of giant in comparison. So yeah, I mean, 2 inside a Psychic Fortress I think is perfect. But like, unless you're happy to just deploy the 3rd one away and just not worry about the fact it's got no invulnerable save, but you know, I never actually got around to trying that. I just tried it with what I said, right? You can keep the 3d6 charge. I want an advance and charge. Yeah, see, it does seem strange that like even our Death Company don't have an advance and charge. Unfortunately, you can't respond properly here. Fair enough. But trust me, Terminators aren't bad. We all know Blood Angel's commander will win a GT with a red-painted girly man riding atop of a Astraeus. No, we won't. I really don't think Terminators are a bad unit. In the current meta where we know our units aren't strong, right? Like, we just know we don't have the strongest codex. Because, like, there is a degree of risk in putting units into Deep Strike, obviously, because you arrive from Deep Strike, you fail your charge, and, you know, your units are exposed or whatever. So there's always going to be a degree of risk if you put units into Deep Strike, but I think Terminators in Deep Strike, to me, right now, are much more preferred than Bladeguard veterans, because there's just been too many games, too many tournament games where like my Bladeguard veterans have done nothing but like soak up some fire in the first turn or something. Even with transhuman played on them, I still lose them. I even had them in one game. I even had them in an Impulsor. The Impulsor got killed, and then all the Bladeguard inside got killed as well, even after using transhuman. So it's like, and I don't necessarily think that my dice rolls in that game were even bad. I just think like that's the reality of the situation. Other armies have the ability to pop open the vehicles, you know, a couple of entropy cannons here or something, and then if you think about 3 plague burst crawlers, like one set of entropy cannons opens up the vehicle, and then, or one set of entropy cannons and the mortars like open up the vehicle, and then you just basically got 2 more plague burst crawlers just gonna take out your Bladeguard, and the plague burst crawlers can pay like 1 CP and be doing like 3 damage a hit, so your Bladeguard on -2 are only saving on 4 ups. It's pretty rough. I mean, sure, sometimes you can roll good on 4-up saves, and that's the advantage of having Bladeguard or Vanguard veterans, right? But like, I've seen it go both ways. Three Redemptors, not the Angel's way. I don't mind running 3 dreadnoughts as a Blood Angel. You know, some people always say like, hey, if you run 3 dreadnoughts, why are you even playing Blood Angels? And I disagree with that because our dreadnoughts in close combat are horrific. You know, like if you give them rerolls or something, you're always wounding on 2s, right? Because the +1 to wound. Which means like you're wounding anything on 2s. Doesn't matter. Even like even if they were toughness 10, which I don't think anything is toughness 10. I think toughness 9 is the highest toughness in the game right now. But yeah, even toughness 9, you're wounding on 2s. So when people say like, as a Blood Angels player, why are you running on dreadnoughts? Well, you could just say, oh, just because my dreadnoughts will wound everything on 2s, and they're like, in melee combat, they're horrific. They're like D3+3, or they're like 2D3, or flat 3 with like 7 attacks. You know, like they're genuinely very scary. So I don't have a problem with people running multiple dreadnoughts as Blood Angels, but yeah, I just point out that Redemptors are difficult to run 3 of because their base size is kind of big. And they can get blocked down, like they can get locked down a little bit, and if the terrain is if it's a dense board, it can be difficult to run 3 Redemptors. Death Company should be able to have advance and charge. Yeah, they should, shouldn't they? It's a little bit sad that they don't. Deep Strike shooting is quite good. Deep Strike belly isn't good. I mean, again, I want to disagree with you, Reziel. If you have a 65% chance of making Deep Strike melee, I think it's fine. In a land where our best tournament players are only winning 45% of games, I think Deep Strike melee is something that we probably have to rely on. I never get why people say triple Redemptor isn't a Blood Angels thing. I think some people just like to see Blood Angels as fast and jumpy, which I think is fair. You know, like some people don't like the fact that I run the captain on a bike as Blood Angels because they're like, you know, Blood Angels should have a jetpack, they shouldn't have a bike, and I would be like, yeah, well, I mean, that's fine, but I like the captain on the bike for other, you know, I'm not necessarily a fluffy player. I'm not going to take something that's fluffy if it makes my army weaker if I perceive my army to be weaker, I'm not going to take a fluffy choice. Why do the Primaris units have to be called Inceptors, Intercessors, Incursors, Infiltrators? In most cases, it's not even descriptive. Yeah, I never actually thought about that. Why do they all begin with I? I mean, like, infiltrators, for example, are the ones that actually prevent infiltration on the backfield, so yeah, you're right. It is confusing. If you have Canticle Hate and Icon, Blood Angels Deep Striking is fine. In my opinion, you need to build for it. What is a 7-inch charge with a reroll? Because I know an 8-inch charge with a reroll is like 65%, right? Let me look at that 1 second. 2d6... We're re-rolling 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. Is that right? No. 6s. At least. So 7-inch charge with a reroll is 82%. And an 8-inch charge with a reroll is what I said, 65%. Yeah, so I mean, 82% charge chance. Like, that's pretty good. I mean, if you think about like a GT, you know? Let's think about a GT where you deep strike 2 units each game or something. You're gonna make 8 out of your 10 charges across the GT? I mean, that's fine. Like, at that point, you could be like, yeah, okay, as long as you plan for, like, if you plan in every game, you're likely to fail 1 charge. So if you really need to kill something, you put both units in against it. I think that's... I think you can work with those odds. Looking to buy an airbrush and a compressor. Do any brands stand out? I'm not big into airbrushing, unfortunately. Wolfden. There is a guy. There's another channel a channel that focuses quite heavily on Blood Angels painting called Origin Painting, and he using airbrush in like all of his videos. So I'd probably go check him out, or someone in the chat can tell you what airbrush is good. But I don't own an airbrush. I maybe get one day, but up until now I've just been painting everything by hand. I enjoy the painting side of the hobby, but my main passion is the competitive side, right? Good evening, J-Dog. Redemptors got a hilarious points hike. Yeah, I have no idea why they hiked the points in Redemptors. It made no sense, right? Robert says, forgive me, I have joined the enemy. What have you joined, Robert? Jonesy says, Death Company Dreadnought, when then it will be fun, they said. I missed a comment about that. Greetings for Germany. What 3 troops to pick from my battalion in incursion-sized battles? I think Incursors and Assault Intercessors are the best troop choices you can get. I mean, Infiltrators are good if you want to do Deep Strike Denial, but if you're not worried about that, then Incursors and Assault Intercessors. Their points costs are good. The Intercessors are very mobile, which is kind of important and very useful as well. So that's what I would focus on. Biggest charge movement so far with my Vanguard veterans failed a 4-inch charge twice. I mean, it happens. I've failed a 6-inch charge twice. Yeah, Highland Phoenix, I appreciate... that's what I'm trying to say, right? I'm trying to say that, like, right now I don't think Blood Angels are this super competitive army that we want them all to be, and we hope that they all... or that we hope that they can be. So we all know that. You can tell by like the 45% win rate that was brought up a couple of times. In competitive play right now, Blood Angels have a 45% win rate, so it's bad. So our units aren't that survivable. They aren't killing as much as maybe we hope they would kill either. So is trying something different, like surgical strikes of deep strike into tactical enemy positions, or I mean, you can do this with Forlorn Fury as well, I guess. But are surgical strikes something that can work in games? And I think so. I mean, I only played 10 tournament games last year, but I won 8 of them, so my tournament win rate was 80%. And I deep strike shit in every game. I was actually surprised that nobody deep striked anywhere near that as much as I deep strike through each tournament. Oh, I tell a lie. The Tempest Scions list I played deep strike a ton of stuff, but all the other battles I played in, like, very rarely anybody had reserves. So I had like way more reserves than everybody I played against. But I mean, like I said, as long as you've got a plan for the reserves, and you know how to use the reserves to get you points, then I don't think it's a problem. I think I'd rather play like that than have the units on the board and just get them killed and then be like, shit, I lost the game because the units were on the board, right? I don't really have a good answer, I guess. But I do think that a 65% charge is a decent enough chance. Yes, you're gonna fail it, you know, now and again, but you're also gonna pass it now and again. So like, when I played Andrew's Tau, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or something, where we beat the Tau by like 30 points? Well, like I had a Redemptor coming in from Deep Strike, I had a Relic Contemptor coming in from Deep Strike, I had the Terminators coming in from Deep Strike, and I think I had like... Do I have something else? Do I have like Guard coming in from... Yeah, that was Guard coming in from Deep Strike as well. So I had 4 units coming in from Deep Strike, and I failed the charge on the Terminators, I passed the charge on the Guard, I failed the charge on the Relic Contemptor, and I passed the charge on the Redemptor. So I actually failed 2 out of the 4 charges, and I had rerolls in that game, and I used CP to reroll them. So I actually failed more charges than the maths say that I should. I still won the game by like 30 points. So that's why I don't think... I think as long as you, like I'm saying, as long as you have a plan for your deep striking, and you have like some contingency there, like you aren't. If a charge fails, you know. I suppose in some ways it's like if you play against orcs, right, and an orc player calls a wag, right, and he needs to get everything across the board and make charges. You know, like if he fails a bunch of charges, he potentially loses the game. I mean, that can happen to any army, right? It doesn't matter the distance or anything. So, yeah, I'm okay with making 8-inch charges. I understand that they'll fail now and again, but I'm totally okay with trying it. Got my first tournament coming up in March. Wish me luck. Dundee Games Club. Doing it over 5 weeks for fun. Still want to win though, says Syable. Alright. I actually support Dundee United, Syable. So I quite like, I've got an affinity to Dundee. I've never been to the Games Club in Dundee though. Greetings, Camille, how are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm not upset about, you're totally allowed your opinion on Terminators or crap. That is an opinion that you can have. I just wholeheartedly disagree with it right now. You know, I guess one way to look at it would be like, I could actually replace my 200-point squad of Terminators with 200 points of Death Company, right? You know, I did the math the other day that said Death Company are very damaging and all that, so I could do it, but I think, again, it probably comes down to playstyle. Have I ever played full Ravenwing Dark Angels? Yeah, I've played against full Ravenwing Dark Angels, and I think when I played against the Dark Angels on the channel, it was half Ravenwing, half Deathwing, because he had like 10 Terminators, but he had a bunch of land speeders as well. David says, yeah, I mean, you make a good point, David. It's inversely good against the coverage of your foe, but, you know, that's, I guess, why I run my list with a decent amount of firepower in it as well. So if I need to make spaces, I'll make spaces for my units, you know? I typically sometimes even hold my units. Like, Blood Angel's got a power spike in turn 3, right? With Assault Doctrine and Savage Echoes, etc. So like if you're feeling okay and you don't need your units down in turn 2, they are going to be inherently more powerful in turn 3. So there is a, you know, if you've got 2 turns of shooting to make spaces on the board for units to arrive from deep strike, I usually find I can make enough space. some spaces, enough space, bit of both maybe. Blood Angels would love to have a stratagem that lets us advance and charge. Yeah, we would. Black Templars getting to reroll all charges in advance, getting a 5 up in Van and can't be wounded on 1 or 2. Losing light cover bonus to get it made me quite jealous. Yeah, Black Templars are good, man. I think it was Black Templars that did the best out of all the Marines at LVO. I could be wrong. Blood Angels used to have the best deep strike. We used to have the what was it? The 3d6 charge, and you couldn't be overwatched from the captain with the relic. And Wings of Fire redeployed you in the same turn. I mean, we used to have a lot of fun with our charges and our redeploys and stuff like that. That's for sure. Terminators are decent, I don't hate them. How about those Relic Terminators with chain fists, everyone? Yeah, I mean, people have talked about the Relic Terminators with the chain fists, and I ran Firstborn Terminators with chain fists at that GT. And like, the reason I ran them was pretty much because I knew that there was going to be multiple orc lists that were running like shitloads of buggies, and Terminators with chain fists into all those buggies is actually really, really strong. But Relic Terminators with chain fists are essentially the same. The only difference is they can't take the teleport homer, and the sergeant can take a chain fist, as opposed to like regular Firstborn Terminators. The sergeant has to take the power sword, which I guess is a little bit weaker. But yeah, I mean, Relic Terminators with chain fists is absolutely fine. I think they're a solid unit as well. I kind of like them. I don't actually own any Relic Terminators, but like if I did, I'm sure I would have run them. Oh yeah, and you can get the teleport homer, I guess, on the Firstborn, which maybe makes me prefer them just a little bit, actually. And again, the teleport homer is very situational. You know, like the teleport homer to me feels the same as like null zone. You know, like you go through 10 games and not need it, but then when you need it, you really need it. Yeah, we used to be able to get flying land raiders, didn't we? I'm still traumatized by 180 guardsman lists, says Dave Bowles. How did that even play? Like, you just deep strike tons of them? It was like Tempest Science or something? Have you played against full Wolfguard or Thunder Wolf Cavalry? I've played against Thunder Wolf Cavalry, Dan, and the thing that saved me in that game was the suppression fire from the Whirlwind. And again, I include the Whirlwind in a lot of my games. Or I guess I include it in pretty much every battle. Like, the Whirlwind just sits, he's always in my list. Like, we never go to a game without a Whirlwind. Sometimes it's completely useless, and sometimes it's worth its weight in gold. And I guess that's probably one way to think about the Whirlwind. Black Templars are good enough that Jack Harpster switched to them. I think Jack plays a lot of different armies. He's trying to win tournaments. He's probably not gonna. He did enjoy playing Blood Angels from what I got when I talked to him, but I guess he's gonna move to what's strong, right? He's not gonna play like a crap tier army, I guess. Which is fair enough. Some people, at the highest competitive level, people want to play stuff that gives them a chance of winning tournaments. So I don't think he finished top 10th though, or did he? Maybe he was the highest Marine player at the LVO, actually, because I feel like somebody told me it was Black Templars that did best. Maybe it was Jack. But yeah, I mean, I think Black Templars are the reason Redemptors went up 10 points, you know that? Which is pretty harsh, because everybody else doesn't get the invulnerable save on them. I run a lot of jump in my local meta. DC Captain, Priest, Assault Intercessors, 3 Death Company, Sanguinary Guard, Assault, Terminators, and I definitely struggle against certain armies, but overall I'm having fun. Yeah, I mean, having fun is important, right? But at the same time, it can be frustrating if you are always losing against certain armies, or you're always struggling against certain armies. I really struggled against Death Guard for a little while, and that was kind of one of the lists that made me change my philosophy, because Death Guard have that character that has 2 ways of making you fight last, and one of the ways that makes you fight last, also it makes you fight like you didn't charge, which means no extra attacks from Savage Echoes, no extra attacks from Shock Assault, and obviously Colin was going to run that against me, because why would he not? Because that's super fucking strong against Blood Angels. So that was one of the armies that I was like, wow, we can't run. There's certain armies we just can't run full and face to melee against, because you'll just lose the game. If the amount of damage that character pulls off like our models is crazy. You know, like a Sanguinary Guard on 3 attacks, or 5 attacks I guess, goes down to 3 attacks, no +1 to wound, which is obviously very useful against Death Guard, no additional AP, which again is obviously very useful against Death Guard. So yeah, it was just it's like a hard counter to us. Did Siegler win it? I believe he did. I think he was playing Admech. Stormraven suffers from... Yeah, I mean, the Stormraven isn't competitive at all right now. Yeah, Foul Blightspawn, that's the name of the character, and he's got his relic's called like Revolting Steadfast, right? I wish they would lower the cost of the Sanguinary Jump Pack Priest, says Cybele. Yeah, I mean, I wish they would lower it as well. I haven't run it since they put it up to... Oh, I think I maybe ran it one time when they put it up to 155 points, but I kind of elevated away from it just because I thought 155 points was... I just felt like it was too expensive for what he brung. Like, you got to do a lot of reviving for 155 points, right? And I think the other really important thing is the being able to put the unit in Assault Doctrine early. Like, if you're someone that's going to go aggressive in like turn 1 and 2 big time, then you really want Assault Doctrine, because it, you know, it's like a 25-30% increase in terms of how much damage you can do. But I guess I tend to try and play my hand a little bit slower. So yeah, I kind of alleviated away from kind of leaned away from the Sanguinary Priest ever since he went up in points. I mean, I think he's good, but I thought he was kind of okay at 135 points. I mean, he's not survivable at all. He can get picked off very, very easily if you've played enough games against certain opponents, they'll know that they want to pick him off, right? Because like if they don't pick him off, he's going to resurrect a model every turn, which is huge. Well, Taro Gar, says Sayable. Zug. Why? I was going to say, can you see something World of Warcraft or Warcraft behind me? I actually have a Warcraft board game here. I don't know if I care about it much, but what I do care about, I haven't unboxed it, it's still in its cellophane. What I do care about is apparently you got like, maybe I can show you on this camera, you get like all the Warcraft characters like Thrall and shit, but the one that I was most interested in down here is you get like a miniature Arthas. And I just wanted to paint the Lich King. I don't know if I can do the Lich King justice, because obviously he looks fucking super badass, doesn't he? I don't know if I could paint him justice, but I literally just bought that board game at Christmas because I saw that on the back of it that was like, oh, it's got it's got a miniature of Arthas. I want to paint that. I loved Warcraft 3. I actually hated World of Warcraft for a while because I guess like World of Warcraft kind of killed the chance of like a Warcraft 4. If anyone in the chat loved Warcraft 3, you can let me know, but I loved that game. I played it so much. I generally play Necrons, and occasionally my homebrew Space Marines, either White Scars or Templars. My main opponent always runs Harlequins, and I never beat him. He always passes the critical saves. Do you know what? Harlequins can be difficult. Null Zone might help you against Harlequins, right? Or it can help. Not that it might help, it can help, I guess. Arthas might work as a Mephiston. He might actually. I don't know what size base he's on, but I hadn't decided if I was going to unbox it on the channel. Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne was my jam. Yeah, exactly. Frozen Throne, TFT. That was the jam. That really was it, wasn't it? They remastered that game like a few years ago, and they like ruined it. I did buy the remaster, and it was like all the functionality from the original was just ripped out. It was fucking tragic. But yeah, no, I love TFT. That's why I hated World of Warcraft for a while, because I was like, fucking World of Warcraft has done so well that they're never going to make a Warcraft 4. That's probably still true, I guess. Plus, I guess StarCraft does so well that we'll probably see StarCraft 3 before we'll ever see Warcraft 3. Warcraft 4, I imagine. I hate playing against Nightbringer lists. Makes Death Company and Sanguinary Guard feel like paper. Yeah, I mean, I played against Nightbringer this week, right, and lost. And the guy played Nightbringer like super defensively on a 6 objective map. He kind of just held it at the back and held 2 of the objectives with the Nightbringer. And it was like, I don't know how you really engage into that, because I'm not gonna. I could have thrown away some models, I suppose. Try to take the Nightbringer down over a couple of turns, but yeah, I guess I generally hate just giving models up if I don't think that I'm going to see a good return in games, and it's probably why. It's probably one of the reasons. That is probably the biggest reason that I don't Forlorn Fury Death Company, right? Because like I try and make sure that if I'm trading, I'm trading up. You know what I'm saying? So like the Death Company just jumping in turn 1 and maybe taking something out, or maybe not. To me, yeah, I feel like it obviously it pushes you to sort of back the Death Company up, or sometimes, and I guess maybe sometimes I just feel like I'd rather just go on my own speed or my own pace. Unless Microsoft have bought Blizzard, so things can only get better, right? StarCraft 2 was awesome. I did like StarCraft, yeah. Hey Commander, appreciate your videos. They're pretty helpful as a new Warhammer player. Any advice on what units to start with when building a new Blood Angels army? Yeah, absolutely, Lucas. We have another channel, and it's kind of like a podcast type format, right? Where it's me and some of the folk. It's actually my admins from the Discord. So we made a video, like a podcast. It's like an hour-long video or something. Where I think we each made a Blood Angels army. So there's like 3 different 1,000-point armies. You know, like Tony's army is fluffy. My army is like super competitive, and I forget what Mark's army is precisely, but I've put a link in the chat to that episode of our podcast. We release an episode every 2 weeks. So if you want to click there, Lucas, and there is slides in that podcast. If you don't have time to watch the whole episode, you can just try and skim through it and try and find the slides where I show like what I think is a good way to start Blood Angels. But yeah, thanks for the kind comment, and I mean, if that video doesn't help you, come back and ask. But I think it's a decent episode. And if I had to that episode was only done like maybe like, well, we do an episode every 2 weeks, so it's like 2 months ago. So I think it's still pretty relevant. And that, yeah, if I had to start Blood Angels right now, I guess that's pretty much how I would be starting. Is that Terminator from the Heroes Collection? Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, I was going to make him the Sergeant. I bought some of the Terminators from the Heroes Collection on eBay. So yeah, this one was 100% from the. I think it's a bigger storm shield. He's holding the hammer up, and he's got this little bit on the back. But the Hero Collection was pretty cool. I have other Thunderhammer ones, but I thought I'd just do this one. This guy's a bit. This guy got a Primaris helmet, because why not? Yeah, no problem. Absolutely no problem. Isn't Custodes expensive if you want Forge World stuff? Yeah, I mean, the Forge World Dreadnoughts on Custodes are expensive. They're like 60, 65 bucks per Dreadnought, and you probably want 2 or more of them. So yeah, they're not super cheap. I think if you're trying to get a 1,000-point army, it's gonna cost you about the same wherever you go, right? Like it's gonna be. I would reckon 1,000 points is about £200. And it'll be, even if you end up buying some things from Forge World, but I mean, Forge World aren't a great option for new players, right? Because the models are a bit of a pain in the arse to make and paint and build, and so. And Forge World instructions are. Forge World either do this: they give you 0 instructions, or they give you 1 page of instructions for a tank that, if it was being made from like a GW box, would have 50 pages of instructions. Forge World's instructions are notoriously bad. I don't know why they're so bad. Like, is it a running joke at Forge World? But they are really, really bad. I haven't bought a single Primaris vehicle, so I don't know if they can rely on popularity. I don't think I've bought a single Primaris. Do you know what? I've bought a Repulsor. Oh, and an Impulsor, but like the second wave of releases, those new ones, the Gladiators and the Storm Speeders, I haven't bought any of them yet. I was considering buying one, just so I've got one, but like, I never finished my Repulsor because I played it a few times and it was half painted. It wasn't that competitive. Cameron, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. The Impulsor I've tried to make work a few times, but yeah, I don't think it works. Blood Angels Commander, unless you can collect Gene Stealer cults, then you need to take a small loan. I guess. Jason said Forge World instructions are so bad. See, when I made my super heavy tank from Forge World, the instructions were just tragic. What's my favourite Blood Angels Successor chapter? It's going to be Red Scorpions, John. And it's going to be Red Scorpions because if you see how effective they can make their Forlorn Fury, it's ridiculous. They have the best Forlorn Fury. They have the best characters that could make the best Forlorn Fury in the game. I'd probably make a video about that soonish because I don't know if people realize how fucking good how fucking good it is. And I think it'd be a fun video for people to enjoy. So, but yeah, Red Scorpions are where it's at in terms of like. If you just want like a standard successor that can have a lot of fun. Plus the Red Scorpions have a couple of unique Forge World characters that are pretty cool, so there's that too, I guess. Thanks so much for being here tonight, guys, though. I appreciate you guys hanging out. 50 people in the stream, that's pretty cool. Dino Shepherd, put together my Riptide with Space Marine tank bits for the base. Do you have a chapter that you have an angst against that I should paint it as? Do you know what, the chapter that used to give me the most problems was Iron Hands, but we don't see so much Iron Hands. I'm not really sure why, because Iron Hands were really strong. I think it was because they used to be able to do that, like, all their vehicles, or is it just the whole army gets a 6-up shrug? And they got all those sort of buffs in terms of moving, shooting, multi-meltas coming out of drop pods. Aren't Red Scorpions the kind of Nazi ones? I don't know, Jason. I'm not a lore guy, I just look at the competitive side of stuff, Jason, and Red Scorpions, if you're trying to build a Forlorn Fury, they are ridiculously strong. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a huge lore guy. I did notice there was a new Astaroth book put on pre-order today, right? And I went onto the website at like 6 o'clock because I didn't really pay attention to the pre-orders this week because I didn't think there was anything coming. And the new Astaroth book is sold out already. Did anyone in the channel manage to get a copy? I guess if you search Game Workshop Astaroth just now on Google, you'll maybe find it. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, sold out. How annoying, right? I don't even know what I've got in my cart here at the moment. Oh, I've got the Imperium Bastion. Haven't got that yet. I actually don't need these flying bases. Yeah, so the Astaroth book must have sold out. Anyone managed to grab a copy of the Astaroth book today? Or maybe end up having to go to eBay or something. Oh. Maybe his stats will go up. Maybe. You can hope, right? I'm getting the Astaroth book from my local game store. I usually try and pre-order everything through them. Nice. Maybe I need to check if my store will have it then. But that was annoying because I knew it was coming, but I hadn't paid attention to the date, I guess, or hadn't paid enough attention to the date. Shit happens. But thanks so much for the $5, Dino. I appreciate that. What color is the Riptide? They're going to be... Cybele says, off to bed. My 6-month-old has been a pest about sleeping. Have a good one. Thanks so much for watching tonight, Cybele. And good evening, DTM. How you doing? Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, these Terminators are going to take ages. They have so many, like, I'm still doing base colors, and I'm still doing like my first coat of a lot of these base colors. So I got I don't know, I must have spent like, I think I've been painting them like for 3 or 4 streams now, so this must be coming into like hour number 10 on these Terminators, and they're just nowhere. These guys, 5 of these Terminators is going to take me like 40 hours to complete, I swear. And then, I think I said before, I got like another 12 of them or something. My favourite sculpt is of Astaroth. The problem with Astaroth's sculpt though is his axe always breaks. Does anyone have an Astaroth's axe who hasn't broken? I'm annoyed about that book. Maybe they'll release it on like Audible, because I quite like listening to 40k books on Audible. So I've got a bunch of the Siege of Terra books from Audible, and like the production value on them is pretty good. They do Audible. I like Audible a lot. From a painter perspective, I'd probably go for Ultramarines. Iron Hands will blend in a bit too much. Yeah, Iron Hands is just the chapter that annoys me the most, I guess. I usually beat Ultramarines. I think Ultramarines are... I mean, they're good, but they probably... I mean, I guess they're suffering the same that Blood Angel's suffering. Like, a lot of the units just aren't maybe as strong as they need to be. The strongest thing that Ultramarines probably have is like not Hellblasters, Inceptors, right? But like Inceptors are just so expensive. Like you can't run a decent number of them, I guess. And if they ever come up against -1 damage, I guess they have the same problem as the Sanguinary Guard, right? They just fall off mega hard. So if you want to take Inceptors and you run into a list with a few dreadnoughts, then you can potentially just be going to be losing the game because the Inceptors are going to be super inefficient against the dreadnought. Any tips on painting the Sanguine or the Sanguinary Guardsman? What sort of tips are you looking for, John? Like colors or what? I actually have a Sanguinary Guard model that I have not painted that I was going to make a painting video on, and I kind of wanted to do it over the holidays, but ended up having to be in hospital a lot because my son was born like 5.5 weeks premature. So I would have made a cool painting video on this one Sanguinary Guard I didn't paint, but unfortunately I've not had time yet. So next time I have some time off work, I'm gonna make a how I paint Sanguinary Guard battle ready video. But more than happy to give you some tips if there's something that you need to figure out. The guy that narrated the Dante book for Audible did an incredible job. Yeah, most of the guys that work for Audible seem to do really good jobs. I don't know. I've got three universes that I listen to in Audible. I listen to Star Wars books, I listen to D&D books, and I listen to Warhammer books. And a couple of the ones that do the D&D and the Star Wars are incredible as well. So yeah, I generally rate Audible really highly, and if you wait long enough, Audible will always send you offers. Like, Audible will always send you, like, I just got sent one the other day that was like 4 months of Audible for like $4.99. So like, I don't even know how they make money at that point, because like a paperback book is like $4.99, and here's someone that spent like 10 hours reading it, and they put sound effects and like music and everything over the top of it. Like, if you can get like 4 months of Audible and it's $4.99 a month, and then you just cancel it and wait till they send you that again, it's like super good value. It's also great if you're traveling. Like, I sometimes have to travel for work, and like a few years back I was basically traveling to America every year for work, so Audible was like great for, you know, because the books are just essentially on your phone. You don't need any more like space or anything like that, right? Iron Hands annoying you is lower accurate, by the way. They're absolute arrogant knobs in the lower SysJW. Fair enough. Primary color and how to paint their weapons. The Thunderhammers more specifically. Alright, you've confused me because Sanguinary Guard don't really run Thunderhammers. Has anyone else used Warlock Bronze, Brass Scorpion, and Runelord Brass for Sanguinary Guard armor? I have not used those colors for Sanguinary Guard armor, but I do use Brass Scorpion for a lot of, like, I guess what you would call like gnarlier, rusted metallic bits. I've used Brass Scorpion a lot for. I like that. It's a good paint. If you put Null and Oil over it, it just gives a really nasty, like, gnarly, like, this is like metal that's been like all tarnished or rusted, or yeah, it's a good paint. Brass Scorpion, I think it's one of my go-to ones for like tubes, or I guess just anything that I want to look a bit like metallic but damaged or worn. I have lost track of the conversation, says Reziel. Sometimes that happens to me, and I'm the one that's running the conversation. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, it's Saturday night. It's not supposed to be too serious a conversation, I guess. I'm actually quite tired. One of my kids has got conjunctivitis, so she's not been sleeping well. So. But now that I've got some more paint on these Terminators, they're obviously not going to fail their charge this week. And then I actually need to see if I can find an opponent for Monday, because everybody in my town is playing at this GT. I'm not sure I'm going to get an opponent for this Monday, so if I don't, I guess I'll put the time into working on like another video or something. But I'll let you guys know as soon as I know that if there's an opponent available for Monday. I want to have a rematch against the double Catan Necrons though, because I messaged John after the game and was like, yeah, I felt like I probably should have won that game, but double Catan, when you've not played them much, is a difficult pill to swallow, I guess. Don't know if I necessarily made too many mistakes, you know? But he rolled so many 4-up saves in that game. It was ridiculous. Every time I thought I'd killed one of his characters, he just went like, oh, well, I just need like 5 4-up saves. Alright, no problem, just do it. I use Brass Scorpion for the indents for my Templar stuff. It looks great. I use it for my Knight Carapace. It's fantastic. I'll post it on Discord. Okay, yeah, I mean, I like Brass Scorpion a lot. I use it on all the tubing, like, I might even use it on some of like the guns and the claws and stuff like that. It's a really good paint. If you want something that looks metallic but also like not overly shiny, just, you know, sometimes that can be a good look to go for. Brass Scorpion is a good paint for that. Yeah, 7 axe, 7 Sanguinary Guard, 4 axes, 3 swords, 1 infernal pistol. That's pretty much what I've been running for a long time. I tried going up to 8 for a little while, but like I've gone back to the 7. 8 is fine, but I don't actually think it brings you that much more than the 7. I know some people write like 9 on Sanguinary Guard as well. I think as long as you 7 to 9 is fine, but I think I'm good with the 7. And I think I'm good with the mix, even though I don't typically run Null Zone, or I was going to say don't typically run Null Zone. I have run Null Zone in a lot of my competitive play, but I've been trying for a few weeks to play without Null Zone. So if I'm playing without Null Zone, I guess there'd be probably more value in just going all axes, but I've been keeping it the same. I think that's fine. Thanks for hanging out tonight, Jason. I appreciate it. I'm also kind of excited about there's some good there's some new 40k video games coming out this year. Ever since I've had kids, I've I've spent like a lot less time playing video games, but it's not like I dislike video games. It's just I don't really find the time for them. Because obviously, like, I have a day job and then I work on the YouTube channel, and I also try and play 40k every week. So there isn't really time in that schedule for very many video games. But I'm thinking because there's a few coming out. There's that Grey Knights game coming out. There's Dire Tide coming out. I'm thinking when one of these games come out, I'm going to do and then there's Battle Sector, which I still haven't been able to play properly, really, because my PC's crap. So I'm thinking later this year, once I get a new PC, I'm gonna play some of these games on the channel a little bit, and hopefully maybe like I think Dire Tide is the 4-player co-op game, so hopefully maybe some of the folk in here can jump on and we can play, because I don't really have many people that I play video games with these days. Or because I don't play any, I guess I don't have anyone that I play with. It's a better way of putting it, right? Shame Land Raiders blow. I love to run Assault Terminators and a Crusader. I mean, you could run a Proteus. I think that's the only way. Warhammer 3 is a disaster. You mean Total War 3? I thought Total War 3 came out like today or yesterday. Do you know what? I haven't actually looked at any reviews or anything like that, but is it a disaster? I would assume it would have been really good, because I thought the last two were really good. I actually played the first Total War, the one where you could go the Empire. That was the one I played, and like I beat it. I didn't play it like extensively. I just played it like once through and beat it. Oh, John says apologies. So you want to know what color to paint Death Company bolters on hammers, I guess? Bolters, I'd probably give them like a red, like a Mephiston red. Yeah, like the casing, like obviously like the ammo and stuff will be metallic, but like the actual, like, I don't have anyone with a bolter in front of me, but like I'd probably paint Death Company bolters red. Like I guess I come from a country where like guns are illegal, so I know nothing about what parts of guns are what, but like the bit that's basically not the ammo, I think it would be called the casing. I'd paint that Mephiston red, and then for your Death Company hammers, I mean, I'm painting Thunder Hammers right now on these guys, but they're red, right? So if this was a Death Company model, I'd still have like a leathery handle, I guess. I'd probably still have silver here, but I'd probably just change out this black bit at the top that I've done for red. So just sort of like invert this is how I would do my Death Company. Because I try and kind of keep them like if the model is red, then the weapon would be black, and if the model is black, then the weapon would be red. Kind of try and follow that as a general rule of thumb, I guess. Total War 3 is a wreck, laggy, buggy, and crashy. Oh, that's a little sad to hear. I really thought that it was going to be good. I was going to wait for the 40k games, honestly, this year. I wasn't going to buy any more Warhammer Fantasy games. Just because, like I said, with the kids and stuff, my time to play video games is so limited. So I'm probably just going to play the 40k games this year. But I am excited to play the Grey Hunters game, Grey Knights game, because it looks like a lot like XCOM, and I used to love XCOM. I mean, I still do love XCOM. So yeah, I'm excited to try that game for sure, and I'm excited to try Dire Tide, because I don't own Vermintide or Vermintide 2. Again, people have told me like, you need to get Vermintide, it's really good, but like, I guess time allowing, I've just not had the time. So I'm gonna get Dark Tide as well. What brush am I using? This is a cheap shit brush. This is a Shade Citadel synthetic one. I'm not a huge fan of the Citadel synthetic range, but I'm only putting base coats on this model, right? Like you can see there's mistakes everywhere. I'm not at a stage where I'm even cleaning up mistakes yet. I'm just putting on like one thin coat for all the base colors, so then when I do the base colors next, you know, they'll look good, and obviously you won't like bleed through the red or whatnot. So I'm probably like, I use Dawnstone a lot for my base colors or base coats, and this is Dawnstone. I'm probably gonna the trims on these shields is probably gonna be Retributor Gold, but like if you put Retributor Gold over red, it's not so, doesn't work so well. So I'm gonna put the Retributor Gold down over the Dawnstone. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So this is just a cheap synthetic. The synthetic brushes from Games Workshop are like £3, but like, don't know if you were here a few minutes ago when I said like these Terminators probably got like 20 hours of painting in them before I even get to like heavy details. So I'm just gonna use a cheap shit brush until we get to the point where like we have to be accurate and the detail's important. But if I'm using expensive brushes, or I'm doing when I move to detail, I actually have two brushes ready here to move over. Both are brand new. I got this Element Games character brush. I love Element Games character brushes. I think they're brilliant. I think they last so long. They're about £8. You get so much life out of these brushes. They're well worth it. There is also a link in all my video descriptions to Element Games, and if you buy through that link, I get a couple of bucks back for the channel, so that's always super appreciated. But I love these brushes, but they also sell these ones, which are your Artist Opal brushes, which are even better. But these are about £12 per brush, I think. So, yeah, if you're a reasonable painter like I am, I don't think you need to go any further than these Element Games character brushes. I think they're great value for money. I think they're better value for money than the Games Workshop brushes. I actually think the Element Games ones are better than Army Painter as well, because I have some of the Army Painter brushes. Artist Opal are the best, but Artist Opal are the most expensive. And they also say on those more expensive brushes you're not supposed to use like any sort of metallic paint, so like you know, like lead belcher or anything like Retributor Gold you should technically not use on those brushes, because it'll knacker them quicker. But yeah, I use those paints on those brushes all the time. What about Terminators with double lightning claws? Have you tried them, or the 5++ isn't enough? Well, I mean, it's funny you should say that, because literally I just picked up one. My squad of Terminators is 3 Thunderhammers, 2 lightning claws. And I mean, it's nice to have the cheaper models to like, for example, when I was playing against the Catan this week, he did 6 mortal wounds to the Terminators. So I mean, like, in that situation I actually lifted off 1 lightning claw and 1 thunderhammer, because it was like, well, I'll take off 1 cheap guy, like a lightning claw guy, but I'll also take off like 1 thunderhammer guy. But you know, it's situational in that, like, what you're up against, right? In that, like, in that game I was up against like a ton of Necron warriors, so the lightning claws were actually really going to be useful. So that's why I lifted off. That's why I actually didn't take, you know, like in another game, if the lightning claws weren't going to actually be that useful, I'd have probably killed both lightning claw models. So I like having my squads having a bit of variance in them, because I think variance is, you know, it's hard to plan before the battle exactly how the battle is going to go. So if you've got a bit of variance there and you've got a bit of leeway and you can make decisions on the fly, like, hey, I'm fighting Necron warriors, so lightning claws are actually really useful here, and thunderhammers aren't that useful because I only need 1 damage to kill a Necron warrior, right? JT Money says, hello, can we talk about beans on toast? We can talk about beans on toast if you want, JT Money. What brush sizes are you using at the moment? This is medium. Or did you ask sizes? Do you not actually use... Oh, sorry. I thought you asked what brush I was using. It's getting late. It's like 11:30. I usually go to bed about midnight-ish. When I actually paint detail, I always use a size 1, I think. Both those, the character brush from Element Games and the Artist Opal that I have there are size 1s. This is probably slightly bigger than a 1, but like I said, just putting on base colors. I'm not worried if they're not 100% accurate, because typically what I'll do is I'll put on the second coat of everything, and then I'll come back and fix all the mistakes. So I'll be more accurate in the second coat, but I mean, I can still make mistakes in the second coat, so I'll come back at the end and fix all those mistakes, I guess. I was thinking of putting my cursors as Death Company, not sure how to do the highlights. Do you all think gold would work for edge highlighting? I'm not sure. I've never done gold edge highlighting. Gold edge highlighting on what base color though, right, Jace? Like, is the base color black? No, that paint's a little bit thin. A little bit too thin. John says, was going to ask about brushes, now going to follow the link, just finished my Death Company Dreadnought, well, at least till the missing Magna Grapple turns up. Looks cool but sucks. Yeah, I mean, the Magna Grapple used to be legit last edition, right? Where it was like +2 to charges against vehicles, and it's stacked with the +1 for Blood Angels. The Death Company Dreadnought, like, that was so good on that Death Company Dreadnought. I'm so sad they changed that. You basically ended up having to make like a... Was it a 5-inch charge from Deep Strike with a potential reroll? Like, it was such a high percentage chance. I think we talked about a 7-inch charge with a reroll being 82%. So it was like, if your Death Company Dreadnought's coming in from reserve and it's charging a vehicle, it's like it's 95% chance going to make the charge. It was so good. They seem to, when our codex came out, they seemed to take away all the really good things, and then for all the other codexes in this edition, they just said like, oh well, you guys can have the good things. So confusing, or so unfair, however you want to look at it. Way too late, says Knucking Fats. I'll watch this tomorrow. Cool, thanks for watching, appreciate it. Hope you have a good evening and you can enjoy it tomorrow. We are going to be live tomorrow night as well with Army List show, right? We always look at community submitted Army Lists on a Sunday. It usually goes out at like 9:30 my time, so about 2 hours earlier than this stream. We'll be looking at Army Lists. And we'll be giving feedback on how play... Well, I was going to say, I'll be giving feedback, I guess chat will be as well, on how we think people can improve their lists a bit. What do you guys think of the Primaris helmet on the Terminator? Do you like it or do you hate it? I thought it was different. I liked it. I feel so 2021 painting up 8 Bladeguard. Do you know what? We already had a big debate, Knucking Futs, tonight about Bladeguard and how people think they're better than Terminators. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I guess, right? And I don't think Bladeguard are a bad unit at all. Just right now, I think I'm on Terminators. I mean, for 6 months or a year there, I was totally on Team Bladeguard, I guess. Maybe even longer than a year. Ever since the release of Indominus, I was pretty much on Team Bladeguard. I thought Bladeguard were strong. I like the transhuman. I like the 5-man squad size. I don't think they're bad. I'm seeing a lot of good things from the Terminators right now. Burgosaurus says he's just putting transfers onto my squads. I have 15 more troops to go through. I always like this feeling of putting on transfers though, right? Like, it's kind of like you're there, you've done everything, you're just gonna tidy it up and get those transfers on, and that's you. It's a good feeling to have. I'm kind of angry because as a Templar player, our codex has drawbacks as well as advantages, wishing that was the case for all the codexes. Yeah, I mean, I think the Blood Angels codex just came out too early this edition, right? I'm sure they'll fix it. there's no way that they'll. There's no way they'll leave it too long, I guess. There's also the rumor of the Space Marine 2.0 Codex, right? So who knows? Who actually knows what's going to happen with that as well? My Bladeguard veterans planning on painting cloth purple. What do we think the shield main color should be? Bone white or coal black? Sorry, Camille. I hate it, John. What do you hate, Camille? I went with I think it was this white for my Bladeguard. I think I went with Vallejo Model White. Blanco White? I guess Blanco's probably just a different language. This is what I did for my Bladeguard veterans white. I think the white looks cool. I think it makes them stand out quite a lot. Eradicator helmets look. Oh, you hate the helmet. Okay, fair enough. Huh. I thought it looked okay. Eradicator helmets look nice on Terminators. Yeah, I haven't. I bet the big face mask helmet might look pretty cool as well. Actually, you know, the one the Eradicators get. Sean says go for black. Merch, thank you so much for becoming a member. I hope you have a good night and thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. Do I plan on doing any Blood Angel Successor chapters? Probably not. I was going to say, I've got so many models that I've not got painted at the moment for my Blood Angels, and then I have like a whole other army to paint as well. So probably ahead of me right now. I don't know, I probably have like years of painting ahead of me. 2 or 3 years. I could probably not buy another model for 2 or 3 years, and I don't even know if I'd finish painting everything I have. So would I be doing a Successor anytime soon? I guess no. Could I run my troops as Successors for a game, for like seeing what's strong or something? Yeah, but like I'm not going to be painting any Do you guys like dirty colours on your Blood Angels? Lots of Null Oil. I use Agrax Earthshade a lot. Once I get a lot further in the painting process, I use Agrax Earthshade a lot. I use Null Oil on like pretty much all the metals, and potentially I use Null Oil on things like anything that I think was going to be bronze, or like Thunderhammer's handles here. I would use Null Oil on that to make the leather look all, yeah, leather belts and stuff, I guess. Yeah, it would be years of painting, TS. I think. Do you know what? I haven't done a tally in a while, but like last time I did a tally of like how many Blood Angels I had painted, which is this is probably like 6 months or a year ago maybe. I think I had like I was getting close to like 9,000 points. So by now, if it's not like 9,000 points, it's got to be right there. But I think I have about the same, like 9,000 points again, unpainted. So it's not like I don't buy new models, right? Like I also got models that are not even built. Like I bought a drop pod last year that's not even built. I have a Battle Predator that's not even built because I was waiting for them to decide if they were gonna make the flamers any good on the Battle Predator, and then maybe I would build it. So yeah, I'm in a spot where I just have too much unpainted. So yeah. But if you want advice on what successor traits to use, I can do that because I know what successor traits I would take. I use Carberg Crimson Shade on my Blood Angel's armor. Yeah, Reichland Flesh Shade really brings out the red. Yeah, I mean there's so many shades you can use. I think I use Reichland Flesh Shade on my gold Retributor Gold guys. I think that's really solid, and I know some people use the Carberg Crimson Shade on the gold as well. So those are two pretty good options if you're looking to do washing. I put Agrax over Blood Angel's Contrast, and then dry brush on Mephisto, and then dry brush Astaroth Red. I don't even realize there was a paint called Astaroth Red, huh? I know there's Mephisto Red. What color is Astaroth Red? Well, I mean, I guess it's red, right? Like, that was a dumb question that was dumb of me to say. I meant, like, is it bright red, dark red? What is it? Funnily enough, if armies with transhuman strats like Custode are causing you grief, switching to successors may be beneficial. They can't hamper Born Heroes and Whirlwind's Rage as much. Oh, Astaroth Red is a dry brush color. Yeah, it's very true, right? Some of the successors' traits could actually be like quite a little bit stronger. The fallback and charge thing, I think, is a huge. I guess it's like, I think that's a really strong trait that you could take on successor. I think, and I may have done this to myself, I think maybe by calling the YouTube channel Blood Angels Commander, I've kind of made a commitment that, like, I'm gonna play as Blood Angels. But Blood Angels have been my boys since like 1995 or something, right? So I'm happy to play them. I wanna win a GT with them, and I know it's not gonna be easy, but, like, you know, I'll fight to the very, very last intercessor. We'll try and do it. I got 4K in 9 months already, parade ready. I mean, yeah, I'm a horrendously slow painter at the best of times. Like, I don't know how many hours a squad of Terminators like this should take. Like, is 40 hours slow? Because that I literally feel like that's how long it's going to take me to do a squad of these Terminators. But the thing is, I get 4 hours a week to paint. That's it. I literally have no more time in my week. So, you know, if I need 40 hours to finish a squad, that will take me 10 weeks, and there's unless I take time off work, I don't get that many holidays, so usually trying to take them for family, right? Before I had kids, I painted like 20 hours a week. Since I've had kids, I paint 4 hours a week. So things were going a lot better, I guess. But so the moral of the story is, if you have kids, just be prepared to paint less. BA stands for badass. Yeah, I know BA stands for badass, and in some ways, I guess that's a cool thing that the channel, you know, I guess when we renamed the channel from Blood Angels Commander to BA Commander, I guess that was a cool side product of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm very focused on the Blood Angel side of things and stuff for the moment, anyway. Oh man. These Terminators have lots of things, lots of details on them, don't they? Yeah, you're right, Sean. I think there will be a time when my kids don't, you know, when they can play on their own and stuff. But at the moment, one of my oldest is like 2.5, and my youngest is like 2 months. So yeah, I'm at the stage right now where like free time is just not easy to find, I guess, for painting. But it's, you know, it's fine. I'm not complaining about it. I'll get. It just means, like, you know, it's the annoying thing about it is, like, I know that, like, I used to get a lot more done, or I used to be like, I think the thing that annoys me most is, like, when you paint, like, let's say you paint 20 hours a week, you always feel like you're finishing models, you know, because you're like, wow, I finished this model last week, the week before I finished this model, etc, etc, etc. But when you paint like 4 hours a week, like I'm doing, it feels like you don't, like, it's so long between actually getting like a win, where it's like, yay, I finished this, right? Don't worry about the kids, they bugger off after 19 years or so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all right. So in 19 years time, if you guys still want to watch me, we'll get more painted. I better be finished my Blood Angels army in 19 years time, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Blood Angels, Terminators, all the blood drops. Yeah, these guys have a ton of little intricate bits in them, and then yeah, whoever it was on chat last week that said that he'd finish a squad of Terminators and then he wasn't willing to do another one for a while is 100% right. Like, my goodness, they have lots of. They don't feel that detailed, I guess, when you look at them right off the bat, but when you actually get into it, it's like, damn, these guys got a lot of. Got a lot of details that I'd like to get right. Sean says he hopes that we're still here in 19 years. Yeah, that would be good. How big is the backlog? I got like 10,000 points, Elliot. Like, I got a lot. For some reason, I've got like 30-something Death Company models that I guess are all in the backlog. Like, why do I have 600 points of Death Company when you can only field them in squads of 10? Beats me, but I've got them. I've got like probably like 40 more Terminators. Sort of an equal mix between shooting and assault. I've got just about one of every Space Marine vehicle. I barely paint vehicles because I've been focusing on dreadnoughts. I've got a bunch of vehicles that also need stripped because they were painted by me when I was a kid and they look terrible because I guess when I was a kid I couldn't paint very well at all. So I haven't even got round to stripping those things. But yeah, I mean, like, the backlog is excessive. Like, I'm going to be painting Blood Angels for the next 5 years, 100%. So in 5 years' time, during lockdown, I actually bought like Star Wars Imperium Assault, which is like a Imperial Assault. You've probably seen it behind me on the shelves. It's like a board game where you play as the Star Wars characters. I'd love to paint it. I'd actually would quite like to paint it on stream, but it's not going to happen for like 5 years, honestly. So for, I was going to say along the inverse of Star Wars. So is it a long time ago in a galaxy far away? It's going to be a long time in the future on a stream far, far away. We might end up painting like Darth Vader or something like that, because I've got them. I'd love to paint them, but I'm committed to finishing my Blood Angels first. $10k points is larger than my army. Yeah, but I've been collecting it for like 20 years, DTM. Like, I've been collecting and buying things that arguably I don't even need for 20 years, you know? It's funny when, like, you know, when people started saying like, oh, land speeders are good, you should prepare for the new patch and get some land speeders. I was like, I have land speeders that are in a box that are not even opened. The guy John that I played on Monday night, I actually gave him some Age of Sigmar stuff that I had, because he was talking about like Age of Sigmar, and he was like, oh, I'm going to do this in Age of Sigmar. I was like, hey, I've got Age of Sigmar models, you can have them. And he's like, what, you can just have them? And I was like, well, those ones you can, yeah, because I'm never fucking getting around to them. Elliot just hit 500 points. Oh, Elliot, I take it, is this Elliot Astra Militarum Elliot, right? But yeah, I started collecting in like 94 or something, so I have so many tactical squads, because back in 2nd edition that's all you ran, like tactical squads. So I have like 5 tactical squads that are all painted really badly as well by, like, again, by child me. So ideally I want to strip them all and repaint them all. So I don't even know why I would need 5 tactical squads. Probably by the time I strip them and paint them, Games Workshop will have retired tactical squads, but I want to do it. I've painted Space Relic Terminators on Blood Angel Assault ones with a banner. I feel like I need some sort of achievement. I think you do need an achievement for that, because these guys are horrific. These are probably... Yeah, these guys are going to take me so long to do. But I can tell that I've kind of given up for the night as well, because all I'm doing is like tidying up some colours. I feel like I've got less progress than I would have liked. But yeah, I usually stop streaming around midnight. It's 5:02, so I'm gonna go for like 10 more minutes, and then I will be back tomorrow night looking at army lists, and that's at 9:30 UK time. But congrats on your first 500 points, Elliot. You gotta start somewhere. Just don't make the mistake of buying shit that you I mean, like, it's probably a mistake to buy when you haven't. If you know, like, I don't feel good about my 10,000 point backlog, I'll tell you that. Rolo raid. Oh, thank you so much for the raid. The ground workers have arrived. I am not very familiar with Twitch, but I appreciate the raid nonetheless. I am here every week on Twitch, usually doing live games on Mondays and then painting on a couple of other nights. So if you want to check out any of the content, you can also check me out on YouTube. I've got like 9,000 followers over on YouTube, so thank you for the raid, I appreciate it. I split Eldritch Omens with my mate. Eldritch Omens is the new 40k box, right? The Chaos Space Marines and Eldar. Most of the models were like, there wasn't that many new models though, right? Like it was existing models, or was there new stuff in the box? I haven't been following the Eldar leaks too heavily. I guess I was pretty focused on Tau because like I think Storm Surges are crazy undercosted. Like I think Storm Surges could probably be 450 points and they would be balanced. They have so many guns on them and they're like toughness 8 now, 2+4 up, 22 wounds or something. And the fact that like Tau can actually run 3 of them pretty effectively is insane. All the Eldar were new sculpts. Okay. I don't blame you. Star Wars Legion is a cool game. I have like 800 points of Rebels and I have like 800, maybe 1,000 points of Imperials for Star Wars Legion. I like that game a lot. If you want like a smaller size game, Star Wars Legion is really fun. I actually haven't played Star Wars Legion since before COVID hit. So at some point I will get back and play a game of Star Wars Legion, but they've probably updated the rules actually since I played it, but I did really enjoy it. And I haven't played Kill Team, I think, either since probably before COVID hit. Kill Team seems like a tough one to keep up with. You know that they're like releasing new Kill Team boxes like every 3 months or something. Like I don't know how. I definitely think I would struggle to keep up with Kill Team. New Eldar Rangers, new Eldar HQ, and new Eldar jet bikes. New Marine character, new Chosen, and old school Forge Feed. So are Chaos Space Marines going to get 2 wounds anytime? Like, is that... If they released that box, surely they'd get in their codex, right? Or... Chaos Space Marines not getting 2 wounds yet is still sort of... I don't know what you call it. Is it like a kick in the teeth? Like... How do they still not have 2 wounds? I noticed in the chapter approved book they took their points down again. I think they're like 12 points per model now, which I think is, I suppose is okay because they don't have the 2 wounds, but like would it not be just simpler if they hurried up and got the 2 wounds? Because didn't they say that Chaos Space Marines were going to get 2 wounds and then like didn't they say like that like a year ago or something? Oh yeah, I was recommending, Elliot's kind of a newer player, and I was recommending for newer players, Midwinter Minis did like a really good like how to play and learn your first game of 40k series, and he updated it recently. So if you are newer and you're looking for learning a little bit more about the actual game and all the rules and the ins and outs of it, then Midwinter Minis has some good videos on that, worth checking out. I want to know how much time people honestly spent painting these Assault Terminators. Like a ballpark figure for a squad of Assault Terminators. Like, am I just going far too slow, or are these some of the most, do these just take this long? I had 3 weeks to paint my Blood Angels Assault Terminators, if you remember them, John. I do remember. So how many hours a week do you put into them, Camille? Because yours were like really high quality, right? Like yours basically look like they do in the box art. I think when you shared them in Discord, like everyone was like, yeah, those are dope. So how many hours did you actually spend on those Terminators? I want to know. Because I feel like I spent 10 hours on these guys and like I'm still finding things that need their first base coat. Yeah, we're still talking about Terminators because these guys are doing my head in already, Rezio. But yeah, I'm gonna be bailing in a few minutes. I gotta go take care of the kids anyway. Now maybe we're just talking about Terminators because they're so damn good and everybody should be running them now in 9th. I jest. I definitely jest. I paint all my armies to battle ready and then dust them off later and build onto them. That's, you know, that's a good idea. At least that way you can get them onto the board. The thing I like to do is I like to finish a unit so that I can varnish it. I always have a nasty habit of dropping my models, so I like varnishing them because then they seem like they just... The new plastic stuff just bounces if you drop it, if it's varnished, and you sort of... You have that moment of dread when you pick it up and then you look it over and you're like, actually, okay, there's no damage, that's good. So I like getting to the stage where I can varnish them and then feel like, you know, I'm not going to end up damaging or having to go back to them or anything like that. But I guess it's a good idea as well to get them battle ready first. So you can use them and you can feel good about them and then take them a step further after. So it's a good philosophy to have as well. 2 to 3 hours every day. Okay, so 2 to 3 hours every day for like 3 weeks. So I guess it's about the same. So yeah, about 40 hours. I didn't realize Terminators were going to take me so damn long. Okay. Alright, well I don't feel so bad if it took you 40 hours. Cool. I'm going to call it there, guys. Feel free to join me again in a week where we continue to paint these guys, and then a week later when we continue to paint these guys, and then a week later as well, you know. We'll keep it going. I might jump to something else to keep it fresh, but yeah, I'm gonna try and get these guys done. Do you know what? If they're fully painted, then that means they're more likely to make the charges as well. You know, that's how that works. When you're on the battlefield, painted models roll dice better, or was it? Something like that. I'm sure I've heard it said. Painted models have more luck when you come to charge. Painted models are more likely to make their... Painted models roll better, I think, is the general consensus, isn't it? Hey, thanks for hanging out, James. I hope you enjoyed the stream tonight. Thank you for everyone for hanging out, and also thank you to the new members. We had a few of them tonight. If you did enjoy the stream, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button, or if you want to follow or subscribe or whatever platform you're on. I am here, what, usually painting Thursdays and Saturdays. Usually we have a live game every Mondays, and then we look at player submitted army lists every Sundays. And then, yeah. Can you try using a clock for your next Monday night battle? You mean like a chess clock for tournament play? I mean, we've used clocks on the channel before, Dave. Hey, Jaegerbomb, thank you so much. Hello, happy birthday, dude. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Was wondering when you'd be here. Usually always here. We have used chess clocks on the channel before. I suppose it depends on who I'm playing. If the person I'm playing against is comfortable using clocks, we can play using clocks. But I've used them. How old are you, Jagerbomb? I'm gonna guess that you are... I'm gonna guess that you're 35. But it's a complete guess. I hope you managed to get a few drinks and managed to relax a bit. Had a good birthday. $33. Ah, not bad. That's... I was only going off what you said to me previously, and yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night. I was waiting for Dave to tell me if he just wanted to see a clock to see a game played much faster at a competitive rate. I assume that's what you'd want. But I mean, we have done games on the channel that include the clocks before, Dave. They would have been done just before the tournament. If you hit me up in Discord and ask, I can probably find those battle reports and link them to you where we played on the clock. I don't mind playing on the clock. I mean, I kind of like it. I actually think the clock gives me an advantage because I can do a lot of the maths in my head quickly, so I can use that to sort of force the opponent. Okay, alright, yeah, we could definitely play a few more games with the clock. But it probably does make it a bit more fast-paced, doesn't it? If my opponent is up for it, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna have to catch some sleep, guys. I will catch you tomorrow night, 9:30, Army List show. We'll see you there. Hope you have a good evening. Peace.